was selected by Mayor Donches to serve as business administrator for the city upon the retirement of Dave Braun. At a special city council meeting on March 1st, council appointed Dr. Paige Van Wert to fill the vacant city council seat until January of 2020. During the last year, I had the honor of serving as president of city council. The following bullet points, which I'll run through here, we achieved as a council. City council implemented concepts established in 2017, such as establishing Article 349, economic development, reporting and evaluation, creating the financial accountability incentive report, the FAIR program. The first FAIR hearing occurred in October, and the respected hearing reports have been posted on the city website. In coordination with the mayor, 3 working groups comprised of city representatives, interested citizens, and community stakeholders met to address climate action planning, municipal social media and communications, and development of the city open data program. Members of council met with the Pennsylvania State Ethics Commission at a committee of the whole meeting to receive ethics training required by Article 104. Members of the administration joined the council member at the training session in Town Hall. In 2018, Information Service made the audio recordings of city council meetings available on the city's website. City council also expressed interest in video recording the city council meetings and posting recordings to the public to view at their convenience. Video recordings will commence at the first meeting, as they have this evening. City council authorized the sale of the redevelopment authority property and rezoned the respective parcels bordering by Conestoga Street, Route 378 and 143 West Broad Street in the connection with the proposed Skyline West development of luxury apartments. Also included among legislation passed by City Council in 2018 were ordinances to establish 3 new articles in the City of Bethlehem that included Article 744, marijuana possession, Article 746, consumer fireworks, Article 1122, appropriate mental health services and appeals board. Council authorized the city to transfer to ArtsQuest the initial and subsequent gross terminal revenue distribution of $250,000 annually from the local shared assessment within the state treasury, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, for the purposes that are funding the redevelopment of an existing arts and education center that has had a professional artist space and studios that is located within the city of the 3rd class that is located in 2 counties of the 3rd class. The members of council approved several changes to the city's zoning ordinances and adopted to amend the first floor uses of the CB and CL district, maximum building coverage in the RT district, redefine the definition of a hotel, define the definition of a CRIZ and CRIZ lot requirements, amend the maximum percentage building coverage in the CB district, and prohibit a fast casual restaurant with a drive-through in the CB and CL districts. In addition, council adopted an ordinance to amend section 1304.04 of the zoning ordinance to enable the conversion of a single-family dwelling to an office use by special exception in certain limited circumstances in the RT and RG zoning districts. In the areas of parks and recreation, City Council authorized an application for a PA DCNR grant in the amount of $1 million for the renovation of the Memorial Pool Complex, and the city was awarded the grant in October of 2018, which was announced by DCNR Secretary Cindy Dunn during her trip to Bethlehem. Upon recommendation of the Finance Committee, an ordinance was adopted to finance the capital improvements of the municipal golf course, such as improving and extending the cart paths, paving the parking lots, bunker renovations, constructing a permanent pavilion, replacing the old barn at Illicks Mill Road that houses maintenance, to name a few. Further, following the recommendation from the Parks and Recreation Committee, City Council also authorized a new 7-year lease with the Clubhouse Grill for their restaurant facility. City Council conducted 21 committee meetings, adopted 41 ordinances, and over 250 resolutions. City Council amended the 2019 non-utility capital budget by reducing street overlays and eliminating the expense of an artificial 40-foot Christmas tree. City Council voted to add $100,000 to rose garden improvements and $40,000 for a pedestrian bridge feasibility study. In closing, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my colleagues for their cooperation in 2018, and I look forward to continue serving members of council, the administration, city employees, and the residents of Bethlehem during 2019 as I enter my 2nd year as council president. I also want to make a couple general remarks, which I'm sure some other members of council would like to jump in on once we get to new business, about some of the accusations of some of the rules of Robert's rules and my opinion on that. I spoke to Mr. Spirk about it. I went back and I did some research on some of the minutes, some of the things that were said by members of council, by members of the public, and I just don't see a lot there as far as violation of Robert's rules. Personal attacks, I think, is a term that's getting thrown around for political reasons. I think there's a healthy debate, and I think there's respect for each other on council. We may not agree with each other, and that's fine, and that comes down to the vote sometimes, and I like to think that we can move forward professionally. But I think there is a decorum here, and I don't think that there has been a lack of professionalism from City Council. There's been calls for me to gavel down other members of council when they're speaking, and I don't see myself doing that in 2019. I think that the First Amendment is strong and well in this room, and I have great respect for it, to the point where I respect it over Robert's rules. I think that people should have the ability to speak their mind as long as they're doing it in a respectful way, and I think that disagreement is good because it shows different points of views and different perspectives. Again, you may not agree with that assessment, and you might think that we should follow Robert's rules to the T, but my view is that we should be able to have a positive conversation in which we respectfully disagree with each other, that is not thrown to personal attacks just because we may use each other's names. That doesn't mean that it's a personal attack, it's just a differing of opinion. And another point to the rules of Robert's rules, any member of council can talk about a subject 2 separate occasions within a conversation. A third time would be at the leisure of the president of council, which I will always allow someone to do that. And then a 4th time, if we're having a back and forth conversation, would be at the vote of council. So those are Robert's rules, but again, I give great respect to Robert's rules, but I think the First Amendment, as Mr. Spirk would agree, in court rulings, is that the First Amendment will trump Robert rules any day of the week. So if you want to point to Robert's rules and say these are the rules that we're supposed to be following, I do respect those. However, I think that a healthy dialogue starts with the ability to express yourself. And if you don't like what someone else is saying, I don't think censoring their speech is the right thing. I think topping it with better speech, more accurate, or a different point of view is a fine thing to do. Just like Mr. Intalix and I did this evening. And we can respectfully disagree on a different point of view, but that's part of the process, I think. So that's my report moving forward. And you can also look forward to all the city council meetings being online and being on YouTube with pretty good resolution. We're looking at the view right now, and it looks pretty good. I think Mr. Gallagher will be satisfied with it, although we might be putting your grandson out of a job.
I look at my phone?
You're not in it now, but
My side, what side?
it's right above you there. So, again, I thank you all for your work in 2018, members of council, and I look forward to continuing the relationships and the positive work we've done for the city in 2019. Mr. Mayor, do you have any reports?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a few points here. The state of the city